welcome back. We begin our conversation this morning with a panel discussion. We have joining us via phone Marie Sharp. You may know her as the proprietor of Marie Sharp's Fine Foods Limited International. Good morning, Ms. Sharp.
Good morning. Good morning.
We also have joining us via Zoom Khadija Azales. She's the owner of Kaj Expressions, and Kimberlyn Vernon, who's also the owner of Posh Hair Studio. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, so this
Three
discussion...
boss ladies with us today.
Three boss ladies, you got that right. Our discussion this morning is in line with Women's Day, so I extend a happy Women's Day to you ladies as well. I want us to begin, sure. I want us to begin individually by being able to share with us what inspired you ladies to get into business, and of course, what has the experience been like for you guys, the trials and the tribulations. Let's begin with you, Miss Marie.
What inspired me to, excuse me?
What inspired you to get into business? In your case, many decades ago.
Well, actually, this was something that wasn't planned at all. At the time I started my business, I was working with the citrus company of Belize, and I was an executive secretary there. So I had a full-time job. When I started making pepper, I was doing that in my kitchen at home on my own free time, never believing that one day I would have been out on the market.
Yeah.
And I just made peppers and gave it away to friends and relatives. And, you know, actually it was one of my friends who asked me, why don't you market this? This is better than anything we have on the market. And he was the one that really put the idea into my head and made me go out and start doing it for the local market.
That's been quite a journey for you. So let's switch to Khadija and then Kimberlyn on their own venture into business.
Sure. So what inspired me to start my business was pretty much my passion for the arts and jewelry making, and also the fact that I saw an opportunity that when I started making jewelry, there were not very many people making handmade jewelry in Belize. So I saw an opportunity to create a business from that, and that's basically what inspired me to start.
Okay.
And for you, Kimberlyn?
Yeah.
Well, I always wanted to start my own business. I didn't know exactly what business I wanted to go into, but I know that beauty and building self-confidence was always my passion. You know, I love encouraging women, motivating women, and, you know, let them feel something special about themselves. So that was what inspired me to open my own business. Like I had said before, I was a teacher actually before I started my own business. But I also used to try different things until I found what was my passion and what was my niche.
All right, so I want to ask, you know, what are some of the unique challenges that you found yourself facing as a female leader in business? Let's start with you, Khadija.
I found that there are so many different challenges. I find that at every stage there's a different challenge. Like in the beginning, my challenge may have been getting my jewelry out there, like trying to get people to know about me. Whereas at this stage, the challenge is how do we scale and expand, and how do we keep up with the demand? You know, how do we supply this demand for our jewelry?
Yeah. And have you encountered any challenges specific to being a female entrepreneur?
I would say that I've found in a lot of instances that people don't take me very seriously sometimes. For example, I've had instances where people have come into my store, and let's say I have this coach that's a guy and an advisor, and somebody may have stepped into the store and basically just assumed that he was the owner. So they would look straight past me and look at this guy and say, so are you the owner of this business? Things like that is what I've experienced.
Yeah.
In terms of recognition, for your brand and, of course, the work that you do. What have been some of the challenges in that area in terms of getting the name out there, getting people to kind of buy into what you're doing?
Right. It's been very challenging. Like in the beginning, when I had first started making jewelry, I used to go to every single show. Like I did not miss a show. There were shows that like were not that well known where I participated and didn't make any sales whatsoever. But in an effort to just get myself out there, I kept on going and kept going to every show. So many people, like right now, if I go in a bus or in the bank, like most people recognize me for what it is that I do, but that did not happen overnight. It's been like over 10 years that I've been pushing and striving for this. So yeah, it was super challenging to get my brand out there.
Yeah. And for you, Miss Marie? Many decades ago, at the start of Marie Sharp, it was a very different business environment for women.
Yes, it was. I guess in my area here, and I'm talking about in 19, what was it, the year started?
It was 40 years ago, because you just celebrated your anniversary, yeah.
There was, all my friends were housewives. I was the only one that was always on the go, always, outgoing. And I had a lot of reading about that. But my greatest challenge really was the Belizean market. Because, at that time, Belizeans, I think, on a whole, thought that nothing made in Belize good, it had to come from outside. So I had to break into a market, and I tried my best. I made my refried beans, I made my fried tortillas. I'd go out in my car and give tasters door to door in stores and all over, and I just couldn't break into the Belizean market. It wasn't until I shipped my first pallet into the U.S., which is 240 cases, but I never said that, I shipped my first shipment into the U.S.
Yeah.
And I put that in the newspapers, and I put it in the media, and I spread it all over, and I could almost see people's minds going, well, the Americans like it, but they may be good, because I could see my local market lift its head, and I could see my local market starting to climb and climb and climb.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge challenge for me, getting into the Belizean market.
Yeah.
Today I'm very proud to say, that my product is a Belizean product. You find it all over and everywhere.
Proudly Belizean.
Absolutely. And that was you developed your marketing tactics early. In other words, you made people at home realize that there was a demand, even though you didn't say how much, in the U.S., and that made them interested.
Yes. That's I did a lot of homework. It wasn't easy. I did a lot of footwork, a lot of trying to beg people to put it on the shelves, So it was a very, very difficult task.
Let me ask you a question, because I know some entrepreneurs or people who ventured into starting their own business. And one of the things you mentioned is that at that time, the majority of your friends, your female friends, were housewives. So they were taking care of the children. And I know there's a guilt that women face, whether they work or whether they own a business, about time away from children, and even judgment that they face from other parents. Did you encounter that?
Well, to be honest with you, with all my work, I had 9 children. 6 for my husband, 1 for us, and 2 with my first husband. So I had 9 children total in all at home.
Yeah.
But I had a good nanny, and of course I was always there, and I was very less, maybe too strict. But my children are, I had no problem with having my children and having to work.
Yeah.
What would you say would be, or if your recollection serves you well, what would you say would be a standout moment in your life as a business professional in terms of getting your product out there, in terms of being recognized for it? What would you say would be one key moment in your business experience so far?
When I went to the induction ceremony in New York for when I was put into the Hall of Fame, I was received with such a big to do. I mean, you know, like I felt like was like I was the queen coming because I was received so nicely, and then I had so many people there that were also entrepreneurs, also trying to make the sauce. And I had like about 3 or 4 of them come and actually kneel in front of me and said, Miss Marie, you were my inspiration.
Oh.
You made me do what I am doing today. And that was one of my greatest days. I felt like I did something for somebody.
That's so good to hear. Now let's shift over to Kimberlyn now, and you know, a few questions there, Kimberlyn. It's looking at specific challenges in being a woman and an entrepreneur. So let's start with that.
Well, I had many challenges. Me getting the resources to start the business, and also trying to get other women to support the business. You know, I had to do a lot of marketing. That was extremely challenging at the beginning. A lot of people think that when you go into business, it's just to, you know, get into it and it's going to take off right away. You know, you have to put in that hard work. You have to understand that, you know, hard work brings prosperity, and you also have to have that faith that it will work, you know. So the challenges that I faced was, you know, getting the resources to start the business, and also putting out my brand out there, and for women to feel confident in the product that I was offering to them.
Yeah. Khadija, I want to circle back to that question I asked Miss Marie about balancing home duties and a business. I know that you have had your babies involved with you for your entire process. Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Yeah. When Miss Marie was answering that question, I was like, wow, like I definitely don't share the same experience. When I started out, I had 2 kids and I currently have 3, and I have found it super difficult to balance business and family life. So, especially right now during the pandemic, where my kids are doing online, they're still doing online classes, and they're both in 2 different grades. So I have one kid in one room joining one class and another kid in the other room joining one class, and then I have a 4-year-old running around, and then I have to be at my business, and it's now 3 businesses. So it's super difficult. Like I have to like get serious about planning. I have to talk with my coach to, you know, kind of guide me to help me figure out how to create and maintain this balance.
Yeah.
What has been either the influence or the support of men in your businesses? Not necessarily from a relationship perspective. It could be from, as in your case, Khadija, a coach who's there to offer that kind of support. Let's start with Kimberlyn and then to Miss Marie.
Well, luckily I have support of my husband, my family, you know, and like I said, you know, having that balance in family is very important as well, because if you put too much in one basket, then something will get missed out, you know.
Yeah.
So, giving that support, but also, you know, giving me that confidence, giving me that encouragement to continue, because I have days when I do feel like I want to give up, but you know, to have that support there means everything. Just a pat on the back, just, you know, letting you know that, hey, you know, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. You know, that's what keeps me going. Even when women walk into the store and they're like, you know, I'm so grateful that you opened this store. I just come in here for the service and you make my day. You know, the customer service that we give, the support from them, that encouragement from those customers, my family, my husband, everybody, that the support that keeps me going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Sharp? Miss Marie, what has been any influence or support from male figures in your business?
Well, my husband had a full-time job too. He was at that time working for the citrus company of Belize. And he worked there for like 40-something years too. But he was always in the background helping me in the beginning because he was my financial supporter.
Yeah.
And he helped me with carrying my books. He helped me, showed me everything that I needed to keep going and keep recording. So he helped me a lot in financing, and so he was there as my support at the whole time. I also have my youngest son. He worked with me for probably about 30-something years. So he's actually my right hand today. He knows the business almost as much as I do. So I have the complete support of my family.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family in working from Jody. He's my marketing person, and he's my grandson. So I have a whole list of family working for me today.
Yeah. Let me ask you all a question. Why do you think that, because I'm sure you're convinced, that women make great business leaders? Go ahead.
I believe that women are more structured. We're very strict and we know exactly what we want. I'm not saying that men don't know what they want. We are more structured as mothers, as wives. And I believe that same structure that we have in our home is what we take into our business, and that's what makes our business prosperous, because you have to have discipline in business. If you just, if you have bad habits, then the business will not prosper. So structure is very important in anything that you do. That's just for me.
Yeah. For you, Khadija?
I think that women are nurturers, and I feel like it takes that to be able to build and sustain a business. I treat my business basically like one of my kids, whereby I have to nurture it in order for it to grow, and to me, that's what makes women like good business leaders.
And what about you, Miss Marie?
Well, I think that I think personally that women are more firm. We make decisions more easily. I think, and we are more. How should I say it? We're more easily to do. Where a man is always going to find how to smooth things over. A woman will make up decisions and say no immediately if something is not favorable.
Your business, Miss Marie, one would say is perhaps one of one in this country that has been able to grow so rapidly and withstand the test of time to become a true Belizean brand, a staple, so to speak. What would you say to encourage any young entrepreneur, male or female, who has a vision perhaps similar to yours or to start their own thing, for them to stay the course?
Well, I would think that one of the first things that anybody that wants to make a success of what they're doing is to maintain whatever they're turning out, quality, consistency, and always remember that there is another competitor out there. So in your pricing, don't outprice yourself out of the market.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good a product you're putting out, you make your product known before you start outpricing yourself. So your pricing is very, very, very critical. Look at your competitors and make sure that you're coming in at a competitive price also. Otherwise, you think because you have a good product, you're going to outprice yourself out market. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to make yourself known first.
Yeah.
So stick to your quality, your consistency, and pricing.
Let me ask you another question, because when you read up about some of the biases that things like International Women's Day, they're hoping to be able to shed some light on. One of the assumptions people make very often is that women won't be risk takers. We're not raised in that way. We're raised to play things safe. Tell me about that process for you, because you've taken quite a few risks. When you faced your issue with losing your logo, deciding to start back over, venturing into new markets that we never imagined Belizean products would go. Tell me about the risk-taking aspect in your business.
Well, it's all about risk-taking, because it's not going to be all smooth sailing at all. So you have to take risks to get out there. And you just have to make up your mind, should I do it or should I not do it? And I have always go, get out there, we'll take the risk, let's go. But we have to push the product. And I must say that it's hard, because you have to make up your mind, what am I going to do? When I lost my name, I just curled up for days and cried and thought that this was it. I'm not going to do anything anymore. Until one of my friends told me, you get out of that, that's not you. You get up and you go again. But I said to myself, what am I going to go with? I've lost everything. I lost my name, I lost money, I was out cold. So, but luckily for me, my bankers also had confidence in me, and they were willing to work with me again, and they just told me, we'll make up a business plan and come and we'll finance it. You have to start over. So I was lucky that I had a good banker. And they financed me again, and I started over, which was very, very hard, because you're starting with a new name. That's a new product.
Yep.
How do you tell people this is the same product? Because even in Belize, I don't want that. I want Melinda. That's not taste like the first pepper sauce. But it was the same. It's only the name that changed. So I had a hard time, but I overcame that hard time, and we keep pushing.
Yeah. All right. Let me get Khadija. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is this. We see now in the younger generation that women, more young women and young men, are venturing into entrepreneurship, and they're serial entrepreneurs. They're trying many different aspects. But when you were growing up, that wasn't something that was taught in school. We didn't go to school hearing about being business owners. You did a business course in school to work in a business. Where do you think your particular drive in creating your own space for your business came from?
It definitely came from my parents. I grew up watching my parents. They were both artisans. My dad was a bamboo furniture creator, and so was my mom. She used to make bamboo craft. They used to have a little booth at the international airport. So I grew up watching them, trying to sell their products and striving towards that. And that's definitely what, motivated and inspired me to get into entrepreneurship as well.
So they modeled for you what it's like to have a business in Belize. So you kind of experienced that growing up.
Exactly. And their business, it wasn't, my parents were creatives, and so they weren't very strong in the marketing part of it, or the management part of it. So I feel like, looking at them and learning about what I could have done better kind of is what drove me to do what I do.
Interesting. Now, Kimlin, for you, the question I have is that very often women face challenges in dealing with other women. And I hate to say it, especially on International Women's Day, but it's a fact. Your target audience, it's other women. Talk to us about the support you have gotten from women in venturing into your business.
Well, I've received outpouring support from women, surprisingly, but I think it's just the energy that you put out there, and be open to help those women and to understand that, at the end of the day, in order for us to grow, in order for us to be successful, we have to support each other.
Yeah.
We have to network, net, and it's work, hard work, and network will build your network. So at the end of the day, as women, the support has been, I'm surprised of it. I'm so happy about it. And that's the reason why that energy that I receive from them, I give it back to them. I give it back to them through empowering programs. The other day we had a wig crafting program where I taught women how to make their wigs, how to budget, and how to start their own business. We also had an expo the other day, an empowering expo to help these women put their products out there. So I just believe that it's the energy, the positive energy that you put out there, that's what you're going to get back in return. And it's always good to focus on the positive rather than the negative,
That's right.
Women, sometimes what I realize is that some of them come with a lot of problems, and it's just that support that they need mentally and that encouragement. And then they will see that, they get inspired by what you're doing. And that will help them to understand that, hey, I can do it too, and, that energy changes right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one final question for me, and this is for all of you ladies. In terms of the business aspect of it, what has been perhaps the greatest support from the business community in terms of being able to keep you where you are, and in terms of being able to allow you to grow? What has been that kind of support from the broader business community? Let's start with you, Miss Marie.
I didn't get that question clearly.
Okay. I'm talking about the support that you've received from the business community, the broader business community. What has that been like in terms of keeping you grounded, one, and in terms of being able to allow you to flourish?
Oh, okay. I have been very lucky working with the Representative Technology. Yes. I have worked with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
I have worked with what's the name of the other one in the Mokan?
Beltrade?
Beltrade. I have got numerous support. Beltrade has been one of my biggest supporters. And when I was on the verge of going into business and starting up business, the Chamber of Commerce was also my very best support. It was through them that I went to Clemson University and did a food packaging course with the help of Chamber. So I have had support from every establishment, and I've taken it. Everything that was offered to me, I took. Because through Chamber, I went to Jamaica and I did good manufacturing practices. I went to Barbados and I did marketing. And so I grasped everything because I wasn't really prepared for what I was doing. So I needed that support. And I am very grateful for the support that I've had over the years. I must say that I've got a lot of support out of Beltrade.
And for you, Khadija?
That's a good question. So we have I have found other women entrepreneurs to be very supportive of my business. For example, they have been super willing to help me provide an outlet to carry my jewelry in other parts of Belize. It hasn't always been easy. Like I was based in Placencia and then I opened the store in San Ignacio, but then we have customers all over Belize. So for example, there's ID7 in Belmopan. You know, they have been super helpful in just creating an outlet for us to show. And then they also do a lot of advertising. We have Noor Collection in Belize City. They carry our jewelry as well. And it's not just about us bringing our jewelry there and then that's it. Like these other business owners help us to promote and market our jewelry as well. So they've been very, very supportive.
Yeah. And in your case, Kimberlyn, like Marlene said, you're catering primarily to women. So while you have their support, what has been the support of the business community, either that's male dominated or women dominated? What has that been like?
Well, like I said, I had received numerous support from most of the women in Belize, you know, who are to purchase from me. I've also merged with many different businesses, women-owned business actually, and received support from them, you know, with advice, business advice, because sometimes you want to communicate with someone who you can relate with, you know. So I try to go to successful businesswomen. You know, you have to have fruits, you know. So they, you know, the women have been very supportive, and I've also been grounded in my faith. You know, that's something that has kept me going, you know, because sometimes it's hard, you know. I feel like these, you know, I feel overwhelmed, and I just have to sit back, relax, and just pray about it and keep my faith going and understand that, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. You know, I was fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm a strong woman, and whatever I put my mind to it, I can do it, you know, because then, yes, everybody else can help me with that support, but that spiritual support to guide me through whatever I'm going through, that's what keeps me going.
Well, I want to say happy International Women's Day to all of you, and congratulations on the successes that you've made so far. And I know, you know, starting with you, Miss Marie, just all the different parts of the world that you're able to have your product now. I know you spoke of the accomplishment of finally getting into Walmart. Definitely a great example to female business owners across the country and beyond. So thank you for carving that path. And I also want to say thank you to you, Kimberlyn. I know you started off online, now with your storefront, even venturing now into workshops, into helping other women how to become entrepreneurs. Congratulations to you, and we wish you continued growth. And Khadija, of course, starting off in Placencia now with a franchise business, 3 stores, Keycocker, Placencia, and Cayo, with a storefront included. Congratulations to you on your success, and we wish you all continued growth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we are keeping on the theme of International Women's Day. This time we're gonna be talking to some of the female paddlers from Galen University. So please, stay tuned.